All right.
All right, Laura, how are you today?
Hi, good. Yeah. Where
Good.
where are you? I'm not.
I I'm in Pennsylvania. How about you?
Oh, okay. New York City. Yeah. So
Oh,
same
what
time
part of the
zone.
city? Nice. What part of the city are you in?
Upper East.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, although quite snowy, but so are you guys, right?
Yep, yep. Lots of snow that we got last weekend, but you know what? It stopped snowing and now it's just there.
Sorry, just turning my light. Yeah. Yeah, well, New York, I guess Philly, I don't know where in Pennsylvania you are, but New York, the problem is the snow, you can't get at it because there's all these cars like that are so it's like still there. I don't even know when it's gonna it's kind of a mess, to be honest. But
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. So, tell me about this documentary of yours. I'm so excited for everyone to see it and to hear everyone's feedback. So tell me how it all began.
well, I guess it all began 40 years ago when bad things happened to me when I was 14 years old at the Curtis Institute in Philadelphia. Yeah, in Pennsylvania. And in 2019, I did a sort of an in-depth article with the Philadelphia Inquirer about it. And I kind of thought that was going to be like, oh, okay, well, I did that. Now I'm just going to kind of continue on with my life as it was before. And I ended up hearing from so many people that that's when the glimmer of the idea of the documentary came into my head was that, oh my gosh, I have to get these stories told. And I hate the term raise awareness, but it's kind of what I felt. I have to let the general public know that this is happening because otherwise, nothing has happened in this insular field of ours for so long. It's all been like this kind of abuse has been happening. It continues to happen and nothing ever changes. And so that's why I made this documentary, was to get these voices out there, these stories out there, and to affect change.
And what would you say was the biggest challenge for you getting this story out there, dealing with it emotionally? Because I know it was had to be very difficult for you to do.
Yeah, it at first I wasn't sure, how I'm a violinist, for God's sakes. I'm not an interviewer or a reporter. And so nothing was scripted ever. It was just me going and talking to these women and having them tell their stories. And I think because of that, because they knew my story, that's why they had reached out. They felt as though they could really, with all integrity, speak instead of kind of being in a weird studio environment or something with, like, a camera guy here and a lighting guy here. It was just me. And I think because of that, I got some amazing testimonials out of these subjects of my film, and I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, I mean, it's heavy. It's definitely, obviously, a very, very heavy subject, and there have been times where I've had to step away from it for a week, for a month, just for my own mental health, because like in the airplanes, they always say, put your mask on before you help someone else. And I wouldn't be any good to any of these people I'm representing if I allowed myself to kind of go under. So I am pretty good about self-care. Um, but yeah, sort of 6.5 years from beginning to, and this isn't the end. It's actually from beginning to beginning, because this Friday is the world premiere, and there will be many premieres after that in other countries and stuff. So I'm just hoping this is kind of the snowball that starts the avalanche.
And what is the biggest, other than bringing awareness that it's a very tough subject of abuse, what else do you want people to get from watching this documentary? I mean, it's such a powerful, powerful thing, and something, especially in this day and age, is so prevalent that we need to hear. So, what else do you want them to get from this?
Well, I think especially like this past week, if people didn't have their head under a rock, we got some more Epstein files, and there's just been, as you can see, back then there was so much threat and so much like abuse, but then also disbelief of these victims, of these children. And I really hope that this film creates more allies for women and for people who have been abused or perhaps are being so, and that with those allies, we can become stronger and hopefully end this cycle, because it is a cycle. As you saw in the film, these some of these men have just been like relocating and doing the same thing over and over. We saw that in 2012 with Spotlight, with the Catholic Church. They would just send these horrible priests to another parish and they'd start again. That's what we need to clean up, and we have to stop. And for that, we just need people to know, and for the outside world to know, not just people in classical music. We've always known, everybody knew, and nobody did anything. So I want to force them to do something.
And I think that is what makes you so amazing. You're finally getting people to pay attention and be like, this needs to stop. I mean, I was in a similar situation and it was just like, you know what? This enough is enough. Thank God, I had a wonderful mom that supported me through it and it was stopped, but still, it needs to
I'm
stop. And
sorry.
I thank you. And I thank you for bringing awareness to this. And I think you're an incredible, amazing woman for all you that you do.
Oh, well, gee, I'm blushing. Thank you. It's very sweet.
And out of all the stories that you heard, which one would you say touched you the most when you were doing this? Would you say was the most powerful thing that you've heard when you were preparing for this, or maybe that off camera talking to people?
Um, oh, that's a hard one to really pinpoint. The two women who are no longer with us that I spoke of in the film, that I find that very, very heartbreaking. Um, I don't know if you remember, I was talking to the Dutch girl, Masha, and then she was talking about how much she loved this piece of music. And then when he made fun of her and made her feel unsafe, it ruined this piece of music for her. And I mean, she's such a sweet person, and the fact that she loved this so much and it was taken away. I remember I was leaving Amsterdam and I just ended up sort of collapsing in a corner of Schiphol Airport and like crying my eyes out thinking about that. I actually still like get a little bit whoopy when I think about that. There's also a couple of things that happened off camera. Heather Bird, the English girl, told me that she heard. I mean, I couldn't say so because it was rumor, obviously, but that a lot of the parents that were involved in all of the terrible Cheetham School and the stuff in England and Manchester were aware, but they just let their kids be abused because they were more concerned about their career than they were about them as humans. And to me, that broke my heart, because I mean, oh, who are these parents? I mean, I think it's probably few and far between, but to be such a massive stage parent that you're going to allow that to happen to your child, yeah, that was horrifying. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
obviously, I've learned a lot from this film, um, about the breadth of institutional complicity, and I mean, that was pretty eye opening for me.
Yeah, and I can't believe there are parents that let this happen and let their children be abused. It's absolutely disgusting. And I agree with you. I don't know how anything like this could be allowed to happen with the parents, with the abusers, anything at all. I don't understand how it could be. And like I said, thank you for bringing awareness, and maybe people will wake up and learn that this is not okay. We need to help these poor innocent babies.
Yeah, well, and I think unless you are some sort of like monster, how can you not be like horrified by the Epstein files, like especially last week? I mean, this is just absolute and pure evil. And I think that people are turning that way. They're realizing like, well, we can't let this continue to happen, especially at the highest levels. So I don't know. I think because of that, my film is kind of pretty timely. It's sort of a microcosm of what's happening in the United States at large.
Absolutely. And I think, this coming out now is going to bring more awareness and people waking up and seeing the Epstein files and being like, okay, this needs to stop. What was it a couple of years ago? They said time's up. Well, now time's up. We're going to start helping these wonderful people that need the help, that have poor babies that have been through this. We're going to be helping them by things like this. And like I said, thank you for bringing awareness. And if you people watching your documentary, if they could learn one thing from it, what do you want them to learn from it and why?
I guess believe victims, believe survivors, believe women and some men and children. Nobody makes this stuff up. And the whole sort of victim blaming stuff that goes on out there, those trolls who say things like, well, what was she wearing? Or, probably drank too much or something, that's just like, if I hope that people leave my film thinking, if I ever see somebody doing that, I'm going to bring them down, you know,
Yes.
like, because that's the one thing we do need is more allies, definitely. And I said that in the film. We need more people who will stand up for us. And yeah, for example, I don't know if you remember, but a couple of weeks ago, there was, I think it was on Air Force One, and he called the one female reporter Piggy. Shut up, Piggy. And there were like 12 men who just stood there and didn't say anything or didn't do anything. They just ignored it and went on. And so my thing is like, do not be those men.
Oh,
Say something.
yes,
Do something,
exactly.
yeah. So a little bit, I hope my film will be able to make people think, hey, I want to be there to help others, because that's why I made
Exactly.
it. That's why I made it, is to help others.
Yeah, and like I said, it's incredible. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 42, and I remember growing up, it's like, oh, boys will be boys. He likes you. Ignore it. Be the bigger person. Do this, do that. And I remember hearing that from growing up, and it's like, no, no. If like, someone said that, well, I don't have kids, but if someone said that to one of my nieces, or if I had a daughter said that to my daughter, I would be like, nope, do not put up with that. And you have my full
Mm-hmm.
permission to fight back.
Yeah, I'm 54. um I have chipmunk cheeks, so it doesn't like look that necessarily, but yeah, I also don't have children, but exactly. And I really think that the new generation is, I think women are now more aware and know that, like, if that's not right, do something, say something. Because I mean, for me, it was an impossibility. I was under threat and in this closed environment and whatever. But there was recently a big kerfuffle at Vancouver Symphony because of some abuse that happened there. And that woman who became public about it and even broke an NDA to do so was 30. What happened to her? She was 23. And I'm thinking, wow, I was 48 when I became public. Like, how brave is she to do that, like mid-career kind of thing? So, that's one big problem too, is that we have to stop punishing people for it. Like, a lot of people are just, they're not able to speak because they think they'll lose their livelihood. And we have to make sure that their livelihood can't be taken away from them by speaking up. That's another thing I hope people will kind of get from my film, because there's no way that at 30 years old I could have come out about this. I would have been dragged through the mud. I would have not been able to survive. I wouldn't have been given concerts. My career would have been ruined. And so in 2019, I really had to know that even if I never play another note, I will not starve. so so that's why I became public. But for people younger who are just starting out their careers, I want to make it possible that they can come out publicly about what happened to them without fear.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they need. And what do you want to, other than speaking up, obviously, what do you want to tell victims to do so they can protect themselves, so they could be heard? What would you tell them to do?
Well, I'm completely aware that there are some folks that just literally can't become public for
Exactly.
family
Yeah.
reasons, for there's all sorts of different reasons. There was one girl who was in my film until a few months before final cut when she asked me to also change her voice because she grew up in a cult and she was afraid that her father and her brothers might harm her if they found out that it was her. And I had her behind a screen and everything, but I could see the fear. And I just said, you know what? Why don't you just be an ally and be there for us? And I'm going to take you completely out of the film so you don't have to be scared. And, that's a good reason, like, to not be able to become public. So there are all sorts of reasons like that. But, I'm still in touch with her, made sure that, you are going to counseling for this, right? To therapy. Because of my article, she told her husband and her mother for the first time ever about what happened. And she said that they were completely supportive, but she wouldn't have, so that kind of thing makes me obviously not happy that it happened to her, but happy that healing has begun, that maybe wouldn't have if I hadn't sort of started this talk. And she actually, that one was the same person as me, same teacher. She
Oh
was
my God.
even younger and even more naive. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
It's scary. It's so scary. And now, have you considered making this an even bigger movement? Like taking Dear Lara and taking it into a bigger movement? You have your documentary, but taking it next level, maybe starting going around the country, speaking to other women about this, maybe finding other ways to help.
Well, I've already been asked actually by many schools, I'd say more than 2 dozen, to come there with the film and screen it at various schools, mostly music schools, actually, which makes me enheartened because it means they're trying to change, right? And yeah, there's a person. Well, she's in the film, Marcy Hamilton from formerly Child USA, and she's creating this thing called the gold standard, which will have to tweak a little bit for music schools, but which every school should go through so that parents can look at this and know their child is going to be safe because there are all these precautions in place, et cetera, et cetera. And and then there's also in many states, your state, there's the statute of limitations,
Mhm.
which keeps a lot of people from being able to speak out because their perpetrators can turn around and sue them for libel. So because the statute in Pennsylvania right now is 30 years old. And when this happened to me, it was 2 years. So I would have had to get lawyers and press charges by the time I was a broken 16-year-old child. Um, so we're also working on that with Child USA to try to at least get a window to justice in places like Pennsylvania. But yeah, all these things this is all kind of part of this movement, you know, to to make sure, at least in my tiny world, I know that I can make change there. Maybe not in the world at large, but in my little world, if I can make it possible for children and women to do what they love in a happy and healthy way, then I'll be satisfied.
Yeah, and if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know because this is like something I'm very passionate about too. So if I can help you in any way, I would love to help.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I guess for the moment, I'm just saying, like, tell everybody.
Right, right, yeah.
um, which, it's kind of, then everybody's like, well, where is it? When's it coming to me? It's like, just, I'll keep you posted. We're working on all this stuff behind the scenes. So, and of course, for somebody like me, it was because we knew about Santa Barbara a good month before they announced. And it was just so hard for me to keep that to myself. Like, this is one of the biggest things I've done in my life. And for a month, I had to keep it quiet. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
that's the hardest part.
yeah, but now, of course, I'm shouting from rooftops and really grateful for them to have, I'm a violinist, for God's sakes, they're taking a chance on a first time director, really. So it's amazing to have that as world premiere this weekend. And we have 3 screenings as well.
I love that. Where are you screening? So if anyone that's watching wants to go.
So the first one is 5:20 p.m. on February 6th, which is this coming Friday, and it's at the Fiesta Theater. And that's the world premiere. That's the really big one. And 6 people in the film are coming out for it. My whole film team will be there and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. Then we have Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Riviera Theater. And that will have to be people who are not diehard football fans who come to that one, because we have we have some serious competition, because kickoff for the Super Bowl is at
Right.
3:30. So yeah, but I kind of imagine like a Venn diagram or something of like people who want to see Dear Lara and diehard football fans. They probably don't really meet.
And I
And
want to see both.
yeah, actually, I'm really interested, to be honest, in the halftime show. I think Bad Bunny is great. So I think we'll be out by the halftime show. Our film will be finished, so we'll run to a pub or something and go see him. But yeah, and then there's a one on Monday morning, the 9th at 8:20 in the morning. Oh my gosh. And that's also at Fiesta Theater. So this is all in Santa Barbara, and it's part of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival.
Perfect. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And I want to go back a little bit to your film. We're talking about the victims and the parents and stuff. What signs should parents be looking for if they suspect maybe their child is going through something or being abused or something's, they find the teacher or whatnot they find something a little suspicious. What signs should they be looking for?
Well, generally, I know this from Masha, from the Dutch girl, and a couple of other people. The teacher or the abuser will try to isolate that person. So that's something definitely to look for. Like if they try to get you away from the friends and the family and any kind of support. And I mean, I think this is universal. It's not just classical music. One if one is at a church, a Catholic church, for example, one should probably be looking out for that as well, or any parent at any point. But yeah, that's the classic sort of beginning of grooming, is the isolation and the belief that that person is like holds all the answers and is like sort of the deity on high. And I don't think it's healthy for any child to look up to somebody that much, you know.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so those are two telltale signs, I think.
And I want to switch topics a little bit because this is a very heavy topic and I want to, ease the interview a little bit. Tell me something fun about yourself that might surprise people that are watching your beautiful documentary. So tell me something about yourself that might surprise people.
Well, I'm a reptile girl. Actually, right over here is I have a iguana, and
Ooh.
yeah, he's very cute. And I think I just never outgrew dinosaurs as a kid. So it's kind of like I absolutely love going places like Ecuador and seeing like parks full of iguanas and stuff. I mean, I can sit there for hours and hours and just like, love these. I mean, I'm fascinated by gators and, actually everything reptilian. And I once actually took a trip all the way to Darwin, Australia. Well, I was in Sydney, but that's a pretty big trip up to the top of Australia, just so I could go on a crocodile cruise and meet some crocodiles.
That is so cool. I want to do that. I want to do that if I ever get there. That sounds so cool.
It was pretty interesting, yeah, for sure. And like I've done weird things like I played somewhere in Texas and took an Uber like 2 hours away to go to Gatorland. And yeah, so just I don't know. It's a weird fascination that just it's been my whole life. And when Jurassic Park came out, I got a VCR. Well, it was back in the days of VCR, and I got a videotape it. I ruined it because like it broke eventually because all I wanted to watch was like the 9 minutes with the dinosaurs, and I would just like
Yeah.
rewind and start again and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, that was amazing to see them kind of live for the first time. I thought it was incredible.
I'm gonna have to do that. That sounds so awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to do that. And I'm adding that to my bucket list right now.
Darwin Crocodile Cruise, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you'll appreciate this about Jurassic Park. When my brother got married, him and his wife, when I walked into the reception, I walked into the Jurassic Park theme.
Oh, oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Na, 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 na,
Yep,
na,
exactly.
na, na.
And everyone was just like so fascinated. Everybody loved it, and it was just so amazing.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many great John Williams themes, but there's yeah, a couple of there's just so many iconic moments, like, you know, when the T-Rex is up at the top of the mountain and that theme is playing. It's just my little partly reptilian heart just like goes pitter pat.
Yeah, right in the fields. I love it.
Yeah.
And since we are a TV site, what are you watching these days?
Um, oh, I'm not sure I'm gonna get through it. I just started Beauty. Oh, it's kind of weird and maybe a little too gross for me. I'm definitely, because of our loss a few days ago, gonna do another one, another Schitt's Creek for the
Yes.
for the fourth time, probably, or fifth time. Um, yeah, I'm kind of a Stranger Things girl, and yeah, I don't know. Beauty's really weird though. Have you heard about it?
I have. It's on my list, but I'll keep that in mind when I start watching because
It's a little disturbing, yeah, because I kind of try to keep my TV watching a little bit on the, well, I mean, I don't just watch comedies or something, but mm, I try to kind of stay away from anything too dark.
yeah, same, same. It gets a
Yeah,
little too much sometimes. I totally get it.
yeah.
And we are almost at time, sadly. I mean, I can sit down here all day talking to you because I just find you so amazing. But I want you to
Um,
describe your documentary in 3 words.
Truth, and believe us.
Perfect. And where can we find you on social media so we can continue to follow this amazing career of yours?
I don't do X since Elon came into it. So on I'm Lara St. John on Facebook, and St. John Lara, I think, on Instagram. And then we have the documentary stuff. There's dearlara.film is the website where all the news will always be for the film. And yeah, Dear Lara Doc on both Facebook and Insta as
Beautiful.
well.
I'll make sure to send you a follow. But thank you so much for taking the time today. I appreciate you and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks
Yep,
for
we'll
having
talk
me.
again soon. Thank you.
Hope so.
Thanks. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.